This is Divine Sunshine, Divine Unisource 11, and this is the Playground Experience Sandbox Q&A edition. Woo woo! This is
Yeah.
Rio Flag, fly high. All right, here we go. My co-host here, we got April Williams, and we have Kathy D, and we have also Tiffany 11 there, deep in thought. Master plan, thinking about somebody in my hand. I forgot the daggone rap, but whatever. So we're continuing on today's, which was Wednesday's topic, which was pushing back past the pain. But we can also answer any other questions that come to your little twin flame mind as well. So the topic we were talking about was the pain on Wednesday, and we were talking about what things we had to do. We identified what the pain was there anything that anybody had came up with like an afterthought? You know, sometimes you on the things and you like, you know what, I should have said this. I forgot about adding this on to the thing. Did anything come to you all's minds about that as far as that topic? Or no, you kind of covered everything?
I did. Well, we are
feel-
birthing in a new paradigm. Sorry.
Okay.
We are
Go on.
birthing in a new paradigm. For those of
Yeah.
you that have birthed human babies, you push you through the pain, okay? Just be clear, be ready, and know that you're about to receive the best bundle of joy to fill your entire days with. And there may be some sleepless nights, but they're all going to be full of love and nurturing. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Just push on. Just keep going. If there's going to be a moment, you don't have to push no more. You just get it. So
you get into rhythm. And one of the things that also was like almost like reiterating of the pausing and listening to yourself. Because a lot of times, sometimes, you know, when you're in a painful situation, especially when it comes to twin flame dynamics, some people might like, oh, well, you need to do this, all this inner child work or this other trauma stuff. It's always like there's something really wrong with you in your brokenness. And instead of having compassion and empathy, saying, you know what, you know, let's figure it out, or maybe this might be it. It's always the phrasing of things, right? Because it can, I can tell you that I can perceive that where the areas is that you might be hurting of improvement, or an area of where you need healing, but it's in the phraseology. And so if the phraseology of the one you're going to see comes off as there's something fundamentally wrong with you, you can say thank you and then go somewhere else for the help. Because then you're receiving not that they're wrong, but then what happens is that that's such a toxic, harsh point to start versus being in a place where you can be vulnerable in yourself and receive the information that you need and the healing that you need versus, you know, so that was like coming through it as well. Like, you know, just be mindful of who you ask and how, and the delivery, and then watch the delivery, you know, because someone can tell you the truth in love, and you know, even though it might be cutting like a surgeon, right? Sometimes we have to tell you something and it's just cutting like a surgeon, but you know, and you can feel love here. And so there's a difference between somebody coming in with a scalpel and just like cutting you up like Freddy Krueger, which has to do with like, I just saw the thing that you had. So it's like, you can come in like Freddy Krueger, just like, Fwah! That'll work too, but it's going to take a lot longer to heal from that cut versus a surgeon just coming in to cut that piece out. So be mindful of, listen to the delivery, because you know, use your intuition when you're hearing someone with your natural ears, because your gut will tell you they're right. If you hear that they're right, but listen to the butt.
Okay.
Listen to the butt.
she's super right in terms of considering the source. And I'm going to go ahead and put this out. This is my metaphor, my real life metaphor. So I bought a bunch of resins, right? Because I like to burn resins because you keep trees alive. You don't have to cut them down, like, you know how my goodness, why can't I remember the name of the tree? But it's now endangered. Yeah, the ones everybody's trying to burn the sticks of the Palo Santo. No, is that the one? Yeah. Anyway, it's usually used by felt trees that have fallen, and then they harvest through this indigenous tribe. Now people, because it's a trend, and they're going to try to take it all for Americans, they're just cutting stuff down and harvesting, and like it's super hard to get. So I'm a fan of resins. I ordered some frankincense and myrrh. I know what frankincense and myrrh smells like. Okay, now I just have to question the source, because sometimes when I burn it, it smells like shit. Let's be real. Sometimes when these people be coming at you with it, I'm helping you, this is work, and you're a horrible person, that smells like shit to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe, you don't even have to return it. You can just throw it away. You don't even have to give it away. Just, it's okay to let it go. It's okay to not. We are vessels. The feminine energy is a vessel, even by our physiological makeup. We receive, we absorb, we love to be in this information, but we do have to be discerning about what energies we let into our space, because we get to stand in our confidence, we get to stand in our focus and be grounded in our power. And if you're being disempowered, there's one thing to confront aspects of yourself and shadow self and so on and so forth and heal from that. There's another of giving your power away. So
yeah, and also, if anybody ever tells you that you're broken, no, we're not broken. We've just not advanced to our highest capability, but we're not broken. We've never been broken. That's the thing. We're like, the willow tree. We can bend and we move with the wind, and we might bend really, really far down, but we don't break. And because that means there's a severing, and we're not broken. And I've with some of the life coaches and people I've encountered at different situations, they want to tell you, I'll fix you, because you're broke. I don't need to be fixed. I need to be helped. So always consider the source. Be mindful of words. If you don't believe that you're broken or need that type of help that they want to offer you, then don't go with it. You have to trust your gut on that one.
What's coming up is, it's a challenge. It's almost like a test to help you stand in your power. And we often can find ourselves picking certain relationships. That's why karma's phasing out, right? Because we're realizing what we actually deserve and what we're worthy of. And a lot of us have gone through experiences where we picked people or relationships that challenge a core belief system that is not functional or not working. And this is part of the out processing of the karmatic cycle and stepping into dharma. And that's the beauty of being on the twin flame journey, is we're all hitting dharma. We're all going to hit our union. But it starts with the union of self.
Yeah, it's very important, especially with the energies that we're having now, is really helping us to push that. I mean, if you don't know how to put your healthy boundaries up, or you have people, as I call it, I look like a solar system and orbiting in your solar system around you, you will find that they will help you. Source or powers that be will help you to kind of get rid of those things that no longer serve you. And that's what really these energies, this new moon and this eclipse, all about. Because with me, literally, I then went through it where I literally physically was eliminating all bodily fluids and things that didn't no longer serve me at all from both ends. TMI, too much information, but it's just like, again, it's really pushing you to make sure you get rid of those things. And again, you have to consider source. I've said that plenty of times on my channel. A lot of times you have to watch, what kind of energy that person is in, because even if they're helping you out, you got to remember that person is coming from their own personal experience, what things they've taught. Let's say if you're going to a regular professional outside the scope of being twin flames and you're having these issues. I was just listening to K Moon with my mom, and the young lady was talking about how that she was going to other people to help her, to tell her about her grief that she was going over her twin that had passed away, and how the counselors really weren't kind of understanding what coming, and how the counselors really weren't kind of understanding. Okay, wasn't understand. Oh, that's like that. Is that me? Is that my twin? Okay, so anyway, so
Sorry.
that's all right. I'm used to hearing my wonderful modelic voice anyway. But anyway, but my thing is that understanding that you just can't go to anybody, and it don't mean any harm. Let's put it this way too. They don't mean any harm. Also,
No.
they're coming from again their background as far as what they educational background, what they have learned. They're moving on to their own personal experience. They're looking at what is again in the environment, what has been taught to them. They're going also on to what has been said from what they have experienced with dealing with clients and customers, and they're taking all of those things together and coming up with a true formula. They're showing me like a square, like a EMC equals square, whatever. They're showing me that. So they're trying to create a formula. But see, they don't go for everything. You can't do cookie cutter for everybody
No.
like that. That's the way they go wrong. Number two, they don't really have the experience when you talk about twin flames too. Number three, you got to remember about their background. Where are they pulling this information from? What hurt are they coming from as well? So those are the things that you kind of got to really kind of think of as far as when you're choosing somebody as far as support to work with or to listen to as a reader as well, because they might not help you get past that pain. They might help you in that continuous loop. I was like, I thought I was getting off this roller coaster ride, and I'm back on this thing. They're strapping me back up.
You got me going in circles.
Right. No, 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 no. I said I wanted off the ride on the next stop. I don't know what this is all about. So you have to kind of remember that you have to be choosy, and you got to be have that spirit of discernment of being able to know the difference between those. The ones that really are serving you. That's even in your soul, your party. I liked how Kathy D had said earlier about your soul tribe, how you got to make room for that too as well. You got to get rid of. Okay, you kind of expound. You talked about that earlier, and I liked that too. As far as some people are keeping you in that pain because of the people that you're vibing with as well. But you made a very good point about why is it good to release those things, Kathy D, earlier.
Well, I said that, as we start to release and this eclipse is definitely saying, what no longer serves us is going to be, removed. So we're going to wind up in a kind of a little bit of a period of a separation as our new soul family kind of groups and comes in. But it's that next level of support, and we need that to make room for our growth. And we all said it, we have friends that are we've had lifelong friends, and then they just don't seem to mesh with us anymore, and we keep them as friends. We're cordial with them, we're not nasty, but we have to move on with our journey and with where our energy's going. Like the example in the sunshine circle, if you're talking to them on the phone and you notice you finally have your head against the window or the door jamb as you're driving, it's time to put a little space in there.
He's talking about the time when you have somebody that's really draining you. So you got like connections with people, and that they're draining you because I said some of them try to keep you in that past template of who you used to be. Or they're just talking to you and you're trying to lift them up, and they just keep on trying to suck you back down into that negative drag of things. And they get to a point that they physically pull on you. I've had that in friends. I've had that even with the DM and his situation. And I was like, oh Jesus, I can't be going to sleep at the steering wheel like that. And so that's another thing. You moving into like the karmic situation. That's why some of us are kind of still in that karmic loop, don't want to get past the pain because of our friends. We're thinking about what our friends are thinking about. We're thinking about what our family is doing as well. And that's causing an issue too for us to still not get past the pain. We get stuck in that loop as well. Yes, April, you were trying to say something?
It was about self-awareness, right? You can actually get to the point where we're all very sensitive, right? You can think about the person, and if it drains you, you don't even need to pick up the phone and call. If you don't want to read a text because it's full of shit. Let's be honest. Let's cut to the chase. But what's fun about today's energy? It's the moon in Sagittarius, you guys. It's about fun. It's about creativity. It's about like just living in the moment. And a lot of the thing is we get stuck in our own head, and that's why it seems painful. Like the whole theme was pushing through the pain. It's only in your mind that it's even painful. When you can disconnect and bring yourself back into joy and back into what your inner child feels and into that flow, it makes it a whole lot. Oh, hello. It makes it a whole lot funner and a lot more interesting. And we're all of our gifts are turning in in hyperspeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know? We're all getting like downloads and uploads, and our bodies are starting to signal us in different ways. Like, explore yourself. Don't spend so much time living in this wah. No offense, but that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the wah, because it's distracting us. We love the wallow because there are a lot of people who are cycling the drain and just don't want to flush into the new reality. And so here we go, dive in. You might as well enjoy it. Because once you're in,
I'm saying the water's cool. Go on.
Yeah, I wanted to ask April because what is it? Because she's the body queen. When Divine started speaking, I started feeling a stabbing pain. So somebody's like right where the that's why I'm like moving my shoulder. Where the angel wing, like right here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh, I feel like somebody's getting an activation or something because it's like right there.
I actually get that a lot, and so it's a lot. So it can be you, it can be your twin, it could be somebody else's twin's energy coming through. It has to do with the release of childhood heartbreak. There's a lot of self-esteem and self-worth issues tied into acceptance and non-acceptance and so on and so forth. So we're treading in these ways that are allowing our child to, is it safe to come out? Is it okay to play? I want to go in. I want to open my heart, but they're gonna hurt. It's like that kind of jogging back and forth, and it's typically masculine is what I'm noticing because I've treated it with different essential oils.
It is in the masculine side too.
Yeah, I treat it with different essential oils. I'm like, come on, like just let me have a break. But then you hear that, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah,
because it's a.
Now that you're saying it's starting to subside a little bit when you start talking about it, so it's somebody.
So somebody masculine. Hey, we can do a little bit right now. We'll float in and out of the energies. Okay, so everybody take a deep breath together since we're all here. Breathe in the light into your crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral, root. Let it go through your knees and your feet. Wiggle your toes. Now start to roll your shoulder. There you go. Roll yourself. Allow your body to open up. Allow all the spaces to open up. Surround yourself with a bubble of golden light. Silver, gold, rose gold light. Breathe that in. You are so powerful. You are so loved. Start saying these things to yourself. I am loved. I am cared for. The world is so abundant. I am supported. We are together. We are in love. We are allowing the universe to bring us more than anything we could ever desire. And I'm starting to feel my solar light up. I'm starting to feel my heart feel comforted. And that's okay. Now, we're going to take that energy and we're going to let it overflow to our DMs. Just let them feel that. Yeah. Oh, don't get addicted. I feel you. I feel you. Hello. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now, this is going to make some people's butt pucker. Now I want you to send it to the divine karma. Send them love. Send them connection. Send them peace. Because they find this peace as they release. Oh my goodness, somebody's having a hard time with that. Hello, somebody just stabbed me. It's okay to wish well for the karmic. It's okay to let her be loved because that's what she desires. And it's not necessarily coming from your divine masculine. She can't, it's like when you're hungry and you just can't get enough to eat. There's a hole. She will never get filled that way. So she's going to seek her own love. She's going to seek, or he's going to seek their own fulfillment. And you send them that love. There you go. Just trust. Trust. Source has it together for us. Somebody got them. There we go. What a clean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's come back. We're still doing a live.
I want to piggyback on
Uh,
something April said, though. She's talking about, when we were talking about ourselves, we're beautiful and we're wonderful and we're all of this. That is something now, especially because our manifestation powers are so strong right now. We need to be doing that work. We need to be talking to ourselves as if we were our lover. You should be able to walk by a mirror and not stop and go, oh, when did I get that? Oh, it should be, hey there, babe. Hey, beautiful. Hey, gorgeous. And you need to have that for yourself, because if you're wanting someone to do that to
You really need. So she get frozen.
Oh, they're great. She was on a roll.
She gets frozen in the with a little bit of Freaky Friday in her mouth. Anyway.
No, Kathy, no.
So what I actually did when I got divorced from my ex-husband, I was going through a huge death and rebirth. That's just the way it's funny when you frozen like.
She back.
Actually, I felt like I died. I honestly died. Who I was no longer, and I needed to come back again. And what I did was I did do that work. I got a little tiny journal, and I wrote myself a love letter every day from my lover, as if he was waiting to be with me, wanting to see me. You know what I? And it was. And what I did after I was done, because I filled up the entire journal of love letters from them to me, and then a couple of them to myself. And I took my ex-husband's wedding ring and I put it on, because I'm blessed enough to be in the ocean. Okay, I'm blessed enough to be in Hawaii right now. So I take that and I go and I gave it to the ocean, and I was like, ocean, I know that you are bringing me the love of a lifetime. A love that I can really, I have not experienced. I was talking about how I wrote a whole book of love letters from my lover to me. And I put it in the ocean.
It's a wonderful thing to do.
And then the ocean, she brought in my DM. That's when I really started, I'm experiencing fully the twin flame. What's a nice way? Dance? Flow?
I think dance.
Because when we use the appropriate wording, we can attract the right vibration that we're actually looking for, versus using all of the old program sayings. They have programmed us with so many negative sayings, and it's very, very small, and you wouldn't think, but it starts to needle away at you and messes with your mind. Even though your core belief system is one way, your words and actions are pushing you in a different direction. So anyway.
Did you want to finish that thought, Kathy D, before your beauty just took you away like Calgon?
Well, it's just that we have to, and when we talked about union with ourselves, you have to have it in your mind that you deserve this passionate, romantic, all-encompassing love. And it doesn't always have to be passionate, romantic. With that all-encompassing love, that means respect and being heard and these kind of things. So you have to respect yourself. You have to listen to your body, and you have to be able to be good with the skin you're in. It doesn't do you any good if you sit and spend hours meditating and visualizing of being with the DM. If you are visualizing you with the DM and you're a size 2, but today you're a size 14, this is not a good thing. I mean, unless you're going to, do the visualization that you're going to be a size 2 really fast. But, we have to be comfortable in who we are. And we have to remember that, truthfully, he's in love with who we are. Our soul, that's the love. This is just our meat suit. We've been in a lot of different ones. And I know, my DM and I have, gone through the lines together. So we've even, switched male and female. So it's not the body they're in love with. It's you, it's your soul. And you can't ask for any better than that.
And what's coming to mind is like enjoy and accept the way things are manifesting. For instance, two things happened today to me. So the first one was, I've been like kind of just like calling in my life partner, not attaching it to my DM, so that way I don't get frustrated with him specifically. So I have a list of how, what I want. So I'm just like blessing my life partner. And then his doppelganger texted me today, and he's just like, "Can we start dating?" And I was like, "No." And at first I was like, "Wrong person, universe." But this is his doppelganger. So, so then I was like, "Oh wait, it is working. The manifestation of what I want is working." And it was just like, that was just like not a test, because I know what I want, but it was just like, oh yeah, this guy mostly qualifies for all that, and he would treat me like a queen and all those other things, except I know that he's not the one. So no, but it was just like, oh, I can appreciate that he got that pull, because I'm wanting that life partner, and he's kind of like, I'll volunteer, So so I was like, thank you. I was like, oh, and then I was able to recognize that a little bit after I had my wait, wrong one. And then it was just like, oh wait, no, it's working, because I'm pulling. And then a volunteer came, and I was just like, wrong one, but thank you. So they would appreciate it. And then I was talking back and forth with my DM, and then I sent him a voice note because my back started hurting all of a sudden, and I don't have back issues, but it was just like, wow, it would be great if you would give me a massage, in my back. And then I said something like quirky to him, but literally when I finished the voice note, not even a minute later, my daughter comes down stairs, and she's like, oh, I'm just coming in to check in on you. How are you? I was like, oh, my back hurts. She's like, oh, I'll give you a massage. I was just like teasing my DM, like, I wish you were here and give me a massage with your strong hands, but my daughter has really strong hands. But literally, I had just finished releasing the voice note, and less than a minute later, the answer to that, which is what I wanted, almost like a deep tissue massage on my spine. Whoop. Manifestation. Now, it wasn't the avatar that I was teasing about, but it came. That's pretty fast manifestation. Right there. So, and I was just like, well, thank you very much. And I was like, oh, thank you, God. And then she was like in my back and like kneading it. And I was like, woo, that feels good. I was like, get in there, baby. She's like, okay, how's your back? And I'm like, oh, I feel like jelly now. Thank you so much. So it's just, enjoying, like, when you're having this desire and it's working. And sometimes, only because you're not getting it through the avatar that you expected, still rejoice over it, because that's the signal. It's working, and other people are coming in to answer your request. And then at that point, you have a choice to say yes or no to it. But you can say no and still be grateful and recognize, like, wow, my energy is so, it's working so powerfully that I'm getting volunteers. And eventually the volunteer I want will show up.
Right.
Right?
You're taking applications.
Yes, they're taking applications. And I think sometimes, we get frustrated in the twin flame dynamic, because we're in this high manifestation power. We have all these juicy giftings that we're given, and then we get sidetracked. It's like a distraction with, like, when we're getting the answers, but it's through different avatars than we expected. Then we're not appreciating, wait, that's the signal, it's working. That's letting you know somebody's answering the call, even though it's not the person that you expected. And then
right.
like,
and that's the point. And that, again, circle back to the topic again, is the pain. That's also causes the pain, because you're not accepting. It's like, it's not coming back in the way that I throw it out there. And I talked about that on the channel too. I forgot what things show I had did that for, a taping for a video. But how you just throw out the love, even if you call your DM, and even if he don't pick up, did you do what you say you're going to do? Yeah. And if it comes back in a different way, they don't call, but a high school friend that you ain't heard in ages calls you. back, then you've got to learn how to be open and receptive to that, because you have to be, you ask for things and you save for it to come back to you in the highest form, whichever way is better than where you put it out, that you wanted to come back twice, double fold or triple fold back to you. And we have to kind of really get to that point of understanding that that's some of us, that's the pain. We stuck there. Well, it ain't him. So I'm gonna sit here and pout and throw a tantrum and everything like that. And you have to understand that sometimes it's not going to come back in that way. You throw out the boomerang, but sometimes it might come back a frisbee. It may not come back that same way. We have to be open and receptive to go with the flow. I wanted to kind of go back to April talked about karma, because I see Margaret. I can't find it. It's way up there if I find it. She was talking about sometimes it was hard to forgive the karmic when you did the meditation. I seen that. And that's another issue with us getting past the pain there. You know what the karmic did. You don't know. She put the hoodoo with the voodoo on me, and she done very nasty things to me. And how do I get past that? That's another issue that I think that's stopping us from getting into union with ourselves and union with the divine counterpart that we want as well. I was trying to think of, I know what helped me, I think it was Jupiter 1111, had stated that they were saying, you needing them to hurry up to get out that relationship is another way of you setting forth karma. In it, that's that you're not releasing it and letting it kind of go and flow the way it's supposed to, and you wishing ill will, then that's karma right there too, and that's not helping you to get past the pain, because you keep on wishing things to happen on that part, or you're not thinking that way, but you're not really letting things kind of progress like they're supposed to do. That's another issue that I'm seeing, especially when we're talking about karmics. I know even with me, it was very big for me to go step out there and call them divine. Thank God for April pushing me and saying, call them divine karmics, because they are. Some of us are divines that are being in karmic relationships as well. And that is a big thing that if we can get past that, we probably maybe could get through union a little faster than what we're doing right now is at this present moment. So what are your thoughts about that, about people saying, I can't get past the karmic pain, what she did to me, you just don't know, and I ain't thinking about forgiving her?
Well, in psychology, we transpose things. We put emotions that we have on other people. And so you almost have to do a reverse on that. Do you remember what it felt like in Dark Knight when your heart was ripped from your chest? And if you haven't gone through separation and stuff, then you haven't, really, felt this, but for those of us, all of us, the four of us, we all know what this feels like. When it feels like you just, it hurts to breathe. You wonder what's wrong with you. Then you wonder what's wrong with them. And you just, all of that, was I not good enough? I'm not good enough. Oh, well, he hates me, and you go through, understand that's what she's going through right now. And I have to tell you, I had, and I told my soul sister, Benita, and I were talking about it. I had a vision of an interaction with the DM and the karmic, our karmic, because she's there for me as well. And as it played out, I literally felt her heart drop to her stomach. And I remembered what that felt like. So we have to be human about it. We have to be mindful of the pain. If we knew how bad it was to lose, them, or just to lose the contact with them, a lot of them are in much longer relationships and are losing a lifetime, many years with this person. And that has got to hurt, no matter how bad it is. So we have to be mindful, and we have to empathize on what they're feeling. We've been there. Now, I'm not saying make excuses for them, and I'm not saying, that kind of stuff, but to understand that pain is an easier way to be able to send them love. I'm not telling you to forgive them. I'm not saying, I don't care how bad it was, but you can send the love.
And I got this story that I think might help. And so while you were talking, and at the end of it, it is a choice of forgiveness. There's a woman preacher called Joyce Meyer, and she was horribly sexually abused by her dad for a long period of time. So she ends up meeting this great guy, and they get married, and she gives her heart to God and becomes a best-selling author. So now she's got a little coin, right? And then she's writing about love and forgiveness, and God says, yeah, you need to forgive your dad. And she's like, I've forgiven him. He's like, oh, I want him to come and live with you. And she's like, I will pay. I have enough money to pay for a home because his health was deteriorating. And she's like, I have enough money to send him somewhere nice. I am not going to have the guy who sexually abused me in my house. No. And it was just like her and God were going at it. And he's like, bring him home to you. He's like, this is part of love. I want you to do this for him. And so she did, she was obedient. So she did. And she just it was really difficult to choose forgiveness and then choose to follow the guidance that she was receiving to her abuser and having him in the home. And now she's got to look at him again every single day and be kind to him on purpose and to love on him on purpose. But toward the end of his days, he ended up giving his life over to God. They ended up repairing that really severely damaged relationship. And when he left this world, he left in peace. And she felt whole, like, I'm glad I listened. Sometimes it's, we don't want to do those things because it's so painful, especially to someone who's damaged us in such a profound way. But if we will first choose to forgive and then do those acts that come up, now because she did that, it not only repaired their relationship, he was at the end of his days helping her. He was going out and doing as much as he can to help other people. They were able to help other people who were also abused. And it opened up avenues of healing for other people because they saw it was possible. So a lot of times what we're going through, even if the karmic did all these bad things, it's not just about your healing with that person or through that experience. It's like the other ones who are going through the same thing. And if you will be brave enough to forgive and then take the next step and be brave enough to do whatever it is the source is leading you to do, no matter how difficult it is, you don't know the ripple effect that the consequences of your obedience of love, to love, for love's sake, and putting your ego aside and putting your hurt aside, saying, okay, you're going to have to help me with this. In the good book, when they talk about, help me with my unbelief, the context of that was about forgiveness. Because the question was, how many times do I forgive my brother? And they thought they were being generous. He said 7 times. And then Lightworker said 70 times 7. Like everything. And if the person did that all the time, you are to forgive them completely. And that's how we are. We're like, well, they've already done this so many times. I think I've been very generous with my forgiveness. And Lightworker came back and said, well, I challenge you to always forgive, period. Everything else will work out. Well, you'll get the steps after that choice. But the choice has to be to forgive. That's the choice. And then there's the process of release and healing. But we still have to be brave enough to go back to what Kathy said before, is to do that ping, no matter how painful or ridiculous. It was ridiculous for her to invite her sexual abuser to her home. It was ridiculous for her to continue to be kind to a man who nearly destroyed her life. But because she did, thousands of other people were open their heart up to be healed from their own abuses. So perhaps God didn't cause it, source didn't cause it, but he will turn it around for your good. But it's not just for your good. Your story will unlock the healing to thousands of others through time. And if you're brave, then you will help them. And you won't know who they are until the other side of this life. when you recognize each other in the ethers. Well, they'll come running up to you, say, I heard your story. Your story changed my life. It saved me. It's not just about our pain. It's about unlocking the grace and forgiveness and the healing for the pain of others, because we're not alone in this. What's happening to you, you're not alone. It feels like it sometimes, but you're not alone.
And that's a good thing that we even talked about that in the sun circle, how you showing forgiveness to the karmic in turn helps to free them, because that even came out in today's reading too about the karmic and their energy, and how they were talking about how other people were viewing them. And I talked to them in there and I told them, you know what, because it's today I did it more, so I'm talking to the karmic. I'm trying to give you pointers to elevate and go to the next thing. But it was a funny thing. I was telling them, you don't know by your story. Now, this again, this goes back to my theory about us being light workers. We do light workers because we shine the light within ourselves, and we take that light and we shine it. I shine it on Kathy. Kathy heals herself and she shines it on Jupiter 11 and 11, and Jupiter 11 shines her lights on April. How you pass it on to each other with that karmic. Now, you healing yourself. You're passing that light on to heal that karmic, okay, by your forgiveness. Oh my gosh, you forgive me. I did X, Y, and Z to her, and she's still showing and sending me love through the 50. She's picking that up. Okay, that's going to cause for her to do this shift within herself. Then that's also going to, in turn, with her, stand in her power and in her friends to see her, because we had talked about that in the Sunshine Circle, how her friends are looking and viewing at her and going off that same vibe and energy that's feeding off and doing the same thing she's doing, but she stands up within herself and say, you know what? I'm not about this anymore. I'm going to stand up in my power. I'm not going to continue on doing the baton for my family and doing the same thing that they have done in years past. And I'm going to choose to do a different path. She does that, in turns calls her friends to say, you know what? I've been with this so, I was about to call him something else. I've been with this so-and-so for a long time. I'm tired of him too. You got up and got rid of the DM. I'm going to get rid of mine too. And then you got that ripple effect that what the Jupiter 1111 is saying. Like I see that puddle, and it's that little pebble you throw out there in the pond, and it ripples on from there. That's why you've got to go on ahead and practice the thing of forgiveness 70 times 7. You got to keep on forgiving. And when the DM does show up at your door, you got to forgive and start off with a clean slate, like he ain't did diddly squat since before he even stepped up at your door at that time, because you don't want that to come back and repeat over again. So again, that forgiveness thing is a very good piece as well. What I also picked up, and the DM keeps on saying, you need to tell him that. The DM said that you all got to stop that divine feminine energies. You keep working, but you're not sending any kind of energy also to them to let them know that you're still in it, in this energy. So you kind of got your back turned to them and you're working. That's almost like that card with that I ain't going to do the Kama Sutra fit position. She's got the tree.
Oh, come on, do the whole body bend thing, you know.
Cock my leg up there and do that while she's open, and he's trying to still do the connection thing. He said we're still kind of sending energies. It's mixed signals to him, where he's saying that it seems like we're still like looking towards other things, but we're not sending any energies to him as well to let him know that are we still in it. He's confused, point blank. That's what he just told me. They're confused about that.
That's where the oscillation comes. We need to, Jupiter 1111 and Divine Sunshine, you're very good at this. Well, Jupiter 1111 especially. Focus. One thought, one track, your energy, your love. Now, we keep splitting and wanting to jump back and forth and, you know, on the fence, but I want to find the fence this way, and I want to do this way, and I'm going to resist this way. You are pushing back against the thing you want to receive. And if you do not allow yourself to receive, if you do not allow yourself to forgive and move forward and keep chugging with the same constant mindset, we're going to just be toggling back and forth between separation and connection. And the one thing about getting what you're asking for is you really do need to use discernment about how that comes in. And if you're finding a roadblock, if like forgiveness, then you can definitely see how it is going to split your focus. Because how can you be in love if you are in anger? How can you be in love if you are in, being hurt about abandonment and different things like that? How can you be in love if you feel betrayed? You can't. You really can't hold those energies, which means God is not able to really source into you what you're looking for. And remember, confirmations come in real fast. Our manifestations are coming in real quick. And because we're now linking as a community, it's getting even faster. And it's I would say it's almost borderline distraction, but if you have your focus, you know exactly where you're going so you can get back on track. Because I find like with my instant manifestations, it's usually in words and things like that. So I will say something, then the radio will echo, even if it's a different topic. And I'm just like, I forgot what I'm saying, my mouth, but it's like, okay, yes, I'm still on this focus. I'm still on this path. I've seen a lot. I had to do a lot of forgiveness work from like lots of different levels of child's, I guess, neglect, abandonment, all that kind of stuff. And, Divine Sunshine has a beautiful set up. Jupiter 1111 has some nice videos that you can go back and watch if you just need that assistance. But we need to shut our minds down because we have been programmed to a certain extent and we need to reprogram. And that's the beauty of the mind, is it can be programmed. It can be conditioned, but you need to open yourself up to what it is that you want to have come forward in the future. Right? If you really want to step into union and your divine masculine has a divine karmic that they have children, they will always be in each other's lives. Okay? So this is something to be real about. So you might as well be like, okay, I'm the new mommy, that's the other mommy, and together we're a big happy family. And if you can't even imagine yourself, not that I'm saying you need to be living in the same household, but if you can't even imagine being around this person, can you, and your DNA and her are linked? Because when you carry someone's child, their DNA enters into your DNA. It's like a small percentage. But if you, then they did some different studies and stuff like that, where the person doesn't have anything in their genealogy. They go and do one of those, cheek swab, and then all of a sudden it now appears in their genealogy because they accepted that through the womb. We are a vessel. We're accepting that blood. They're now tied by blood. So when you do your energy work and you're sending it to your twin, you're sending it to the divine karmic as well. So you get to be aware and very conscious of the things that you are doing and creating. And if you're pushing her away, you're pushing him away too. So step into full acceptance, step into full forgiveness and full love.
Somebody took a big breath when you said that. I felt it. It's like, oh, clutch the pearls. What the hell? What the hell? What?
And so because we're linked as twins, our energies are just totally linked. It's okay. Like I got blood sick, people. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story with my divine masculine. But what he did offended me so much, I said it out loud. This shit bites you in the ass. So watch what you're saying. Watch what you're thinking. Okay. So he did something. I was so offended. I said, "You have made my blood sick. I am so offended." Right. I did some energy work on someone. I ended up taking on what they had, and ended up having like something happen where I ended up bleeding out like a lot of blood, and I had a near-death experience, and I needed 2 quarts of blood to bring me back. So the universe gave me a divine bloodletting to let all that sickness out. And so I regained myself and I allowed myself to just feel loved and appreciate my body, appreciate my physical being in this plane. I was able to bring in a beautiful light being. I'm sure you've seen him wandering around on other episodes.
Yeah, he's so cute. Oh my gosh, he's adorable.
The kid does energy work. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all beautiful gifts that we've been given by the great I am. It's just a matter of changing our perspective and not or speaking what we want to exist. Because the universe doesn't hear not, it just hears go for whatever they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Go for gold. I want to not be angry. Go for angry. I want to not be resentful. Go for resentful.
But that's how our subconscious is as well. It doesn't hear the word not either. So that's why when you're writing your affirmations or you're doing these writing prompts, you have to do it in present tense and in positive form and saying, you know, I am not fat. No, all I heard was I am fat. And you're writing it. Now you're writing it over and over again. You have to say, I am healthy. Yes. You know, I am strong. Yes. You know, your brain understands that it'll drop the knot. So we're saying it about the universe, but also it's universe you in reverse. So the way it works outside is the way it's working inside. And your inside does not hear the word not. It'll it'll drop it. And so does the universe on the outside because it's mimicking. It's a mirror.
As within, as without, so above, as above, so below. And you know what? Let's just start talking to ourselves. Let's just start praying out loud. Seriously.
Got a question. How can you help someone get out of ego, another divine feminine? Woo.
Where
do they want to get out of ego, or is this something you see?
Depending on where they are in their journey.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
Because and your connection to them, right? Because it's like my sister, if she's in ego, I can just tell her, "What's wrong with you?" Oh, you're getting a big head, are you? You know, it's just.
But ego is not a bad thing. Okay, we keep associating ego as a bad thing. Ego is not a bad thing. Ego helps us protect ourselves. Like the earlier story about you forgive them, 70 times 7. You forgive them in an infinite amount of times. However, you don't keep putting yourself in harm's way.
Right. That's different.
Yeah. So when this person is in ego, what part of ego? Are they being defensive? Are they pushing off something? Or do they really just want to hold an anger? You know, like a lot of this stuff is triggering, but it's that part of their ego served them at one point. Right? So when you approach them and they're just rah-ing at you, it's like, hey, yeah, I'm coming in with that energy, sis, or I'm not coming in with that energy, bro. It's like, it's okay. How would you talk to your divine masculine? Because the masculine energy has a lot of ego right now, right? So if she's in death, she might be in DM mode, and she might be triggered because they're all going through some heavy dark night of the. We push towers. Thanks, Jupiter. Watch one of Jupiter's last videos. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
But we push towers. So if she or he is coming to a head with something that it needs to be released, great. You can walk them through that process if they're there, if they're ready for it. Someone also asked a question. I don't know. I'm sorry. Are we done? We're not done talking about that. But yeah, you saw it. There you go. Sure. Why not? What to do? Life's a roller coaster. Let's go on a ride together. Especially since the female body, well, it's not so much the female body because we both have female and male aspects. Every human being, right? Because there is duality, we have a spectrum. So our cycles run with the moon. So usually when I'm ovulating, I feel a little ready to go. Freaky Friday gets even freakier. Even when I'm in my cycle, I'm like, I'm ready to go. But I do need extra naps at certain times. And I'm noticing that the driving is freaking awful. Okay? I don't understand what's going on out there, but I don't think anybody knows how to read any kind of signs. I've been driving straight for 3 miles, yet the person in front of me still has their left blinker on. Anybody?
Yeah. So I don't know. With me, I don't know about the sluggish feeling. Oh, wait a second. Stop.
What has
Yeah,
been happening to you, woman?
thing. She eclipsing all over the place here. That's a my Lord. Oh God, I didn't even see her when she disappeared that time. Lord. Okay. Um. He doing it. Cook's doing it. Cook food. Okay. Yeah, they said something about. I did hear somebody saying you might feel like you might have to sleep because of all the downloads and all of the move ascension signs. So yeah, you probably sluggish would fit into that category. So I'm gonna say yes. My final answer is yes.
I was hearing,
Damn that
I can't remember who I heard this from now because I was listening to somebody. Now I can't remember who said it, but she said, she was saying maybe it was Oshan. And she said, if you're waking up tired, beloved, because while you're sleeping, you've been doing a lot of astro work. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
your body's trying to rest, but then your spirit's out doing work, and then you come back into your body and you're like, you wake up, you're like, "Ooh, I'm tired. I slept enough hours. Why am I still tired?"
I'm
Yeah.
excited because my whole
So
body's
even,
sore. So
even
I'm hoping I wake up with abs.
yeah, like even right now, I forgot about the phone. The phone was fully charged when we
Oh,
started. We haven't even been on an hour, and it's already almost to half. Like we were talking about, like even our technology draining the
Mhm.
battery life. Even though if I'm not, I can leave this on for hours. Actually use my phone, and I'll put like subliminals on while I'm sleeping. It's not plugged in, and I'm fine. But I'm with you guys, and it's already whew, the technology gets, like, oh, all this energy is being, like utilized in one hit that way. So if it's like my subliminal is not a big deal, but this is live, and so it's like sucking the energy, right? So even though you'll see it in technology, you'll see it on your phone. And when it's happening where even inanimate objects are responding to the energy, of course your bodies are going to, because
mhm.
they're alive, so they're responding really fast. So you just have to be mindful of how your body normally is around moon cycles. Generally, like mine is like, I always end up having this massive hit with creativity, but because of it, it kind of goes up, and then it's like I have to nap more around the moons. And I also have, my cycles actually attached to the full moon. So it's just like, oh, now I really want to sleep and have macaroni and cheese, and can I just Netflix and chill?
This was a super powerful moon, by the way. Like a lot of women that I've talked to went off cycle. Like I was clockwork and I went off cycle. And so
Yeah.
some of my friends were clockwork and they went off. This is a very, very powerful moon and powerful lunar eclipse. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
our bodies are upgrading. Like I know Divine Sunshine has been talking about going through the gauntlet this week. I know
Yeah.
Margaret even mentioned feeling hot and just we're going through full alchemy. Our bodies are changing. Our systems are upgrading. We are shifting because I put a timer on my Instagram. I was like, it's a 5D, 3D or it's a 3D, 5D polar shift happening in, waiting for the countdown for today because it's real. It's really happening.
Yeah. So Mark, yeah, you're not by yourself because, like I said at the beginning, I had it all. I had vertigo and headaches has been happening. I thought before, I usually sometimes if my DM is thinking about me like really, really hard, I get headaches on my end. So I was like, okay, well maybe that's it. And then I was like, no, I don't think, but it is because that's came out in the cards too that the DM are excessively thinking about the divine feminines a lot. And so that's it. And then I have vertigo, but when I have vertigo, they don't have nothing to do with him. That's just me spiritually being upgraded. Oh, and I feel that way. And like Kathy told me to start paying attention because most of the time that's when you better watch out because you about to get something hit with something real good on divine unisols. When I get all the verticals and headaches and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
about 24 hours and she hits us with a doozy.
Yeah, with a doozy, the woozy. What is there anybody else?
There's got to be a way. Congratulations, Ethereal. Now spread that magic. She
She got,
got
what
her
she
swag. She got her swag.
got? Swag. Oh, okay. All right then. Spread that. I need to sign. Yeah, and you got numb. And what she said? Okay, what? Okay, let me show that. What you say? I had a headache and nausea and like numb. Yeah, it was not my DM, but that other one after me. Oh, somebody else after you?
The
Yeah,
doppelganger.
Yeah, it's a childhood friend.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's been happening this week too. That was real interesting. How? Ooh, yeah, she asked. Yes, I asked the question. She asked the question. Okay.
She probably
Uh,
missed it.
yeah, she
Yeah,
did.
I
Well,
think we
wait
answered it.
up here. I thought. Let me
We
see.
did.
What's
We answered it.
some? I thought we
About the
answered.
ego. About the ego. You seen that one?
Mhm.
Did
Yeah.
that one. Hey,
Yeah.
BB in Texas. Yeah, I seen. I thought I seen it. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it has been. It was a point here in time this week. All the exes from Texas, no pun intended, CP in Texas, but all of them was coming at once. I'm like, what is this? Oh my God, I have finished with you. What's happening? And I know Benita said they were being tested. I don't need that. I passed that test. I ain't taking that exam no more. Thank you very much. Finish.
See, I think that there's a way. What's coming through is there's got to be a way for us to integrate with less. There's got to be a way with for us to integrate with more ease and grace,
Yeah, you
where
said.
it's not distracting us from being able to function on.
Mhm.
And
I think when the shift comes in, it will become easier. I think right now, because we're in that transition, it's like kind of like a rocket when you go between our atmosphere and space, how it shakes and shimmies, and then it goes out and it just floats and it's just smooth and almost, like a dance, the way it just moves. So I think that's what
but
we're going into.
she's so far into it. Like you're so far along that all of that stuff we get to change the paradigm. I just choose to change it for her.
Right.
You're
And
right.
I think like what was coming through when you were saying that is that you need to choose it and you need to expect it. Because I know from talking to people when I'm listening to them and they're talking about like I'm going through this and that, it's almost like they're using the effects of the negative energetic shifts within them trying to reconcile it as a
Yeah.
badge of honor of this is why I'm so powerful, or this is why I'm a good healer, or this is part of being able to transmute energy is that I go through this. And so when they're talking to me and they ask me, do I go through it? I'm like, nope. I'm in this perpetual bubble.
I've also
I
I've also
normally don't.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I normally don't. And when I do, it's because I expect that when I do, that it's because source is specifically having me feel it. Just like when Divine started talking, all of a sudden I started feeling like the stabbing pain. And then I was hearing ask April what that is. And then you started talking April, and I'm like, ow! Stop it. And it's like, ask April what that is. And I was like, April, what is that? And then but then as soon as you started explaining it, because somebody was going to feel it, it started to subside immediately. So like as soon as you finished explaining it thoroughly, the pain left.
One of the easiest ways to do it without thinking about if that comes back, you're filling yourself protection always. We do the bubble. The bubble's now the golden rule.
Our golden egg rule, yeah.
Yeah, we have our golden egg, our golden bubble, and then you go into the energy work and let yourself be full, and then give your excess. So you're so full of love and light and confidence and security and self-awareness, and then all your excess pours to who is pulling at you. And if you've got multiple energies pulling at you without your permission to the point of distraction, you need to readjust because you're stepping into a spiritual ego martyrdom. It's possible. Not that it's always that way. It is possible. You don't need to go through the martyr. But sometimes we need to slow ourselves down. And if you don't do it willingly, just like the aha moment versus the tower, if you don't do it willingly, spirit will take your ass out like a Tanya Harding situation. So watch yourself. Just watch yourself.
Yeah.
Take it now. Show me what you're working with.
Oh,
Yes.
essential oils. Put on essential oil. A masculine essential oil. Um, Ethereal Sorceress mentioned vetiver. Vetiver is a really nice one. I
Yes.
mean, cedar wood, sandalwood, you know,
Yeah.
what you're being called to. Try different things out and see how it is. I got a
Mm.
lot of really interesting things happening. Is anybody else's screen flashing light?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure. Oh, we got some
Hello,
energy.
mine always does that. Can you see that? Be like, what kind of color effects you got up in that room? I said, don't ask me that spirit. It went green, it went blue, and then it went yellow. I'm like, oh, that spirit that has nothing to do with me. I got my own lighting effects man spirits around here that does that for me. Somebody asked a question. I had it right on here. Is this a question?
Margaret did.
Tomorrow.
Yes, the one above it.
She's laughing
Tomorrow.
at
I think that too. I'm always LOLing. Anybody?
yes, yes, yes. She had one. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I
It's the
knew
one
I had
above
it
it.
right on there.
Oh,
And then,
Margaret had one above it, above the LOL.
okay.
Yeah, she asked one too,
Yeah, I
but
was going in order because
okay,
he was next.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because that was my next question. I remember that. I had it right on there. Okay, here we go. So we got Kiki has. How do you intentionally call in your DM spirit to uplift and encourage? Hmm. Okay, it depends on what you're talking about. Okay, so I don't know if I'm hitting on this. Like last night, I was really wiped out about me in the car and me going all over the place, trying to get the battery. I was very overwhelmed by everything because first of all, that's something that my dad would help me out with, and so he was not here, so that really upset me. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't talk to, I think I talked to the DM early and I didn't want to bother him anymore. I was like, that's enough. We ain't getting emotionally codependent again. So we're going to figure this out on his own. But I did circumstand it because I was like, you know what? I'm tired. And so I put my PJs on and I said, you know what? I'm just going to pretend that these pillows are like his chest and I'm just going to like lean back and just pretend that he's like has his arms around me and that. So I don't know if that's the same thing of calling, but I did feel him, his energy say, okay, did you call? I was like, yes, I need a hug. So then he's like, okay. And I can feel his arms, and then I fell right on off to sleep with that. So I could call him in. He'll answer. You know, I guess it's the same thing like calling and talking to their 50 cells as well, and they'll answer back to you as well. I know mine's does. He picks up the line, so I can only speak for myself. So I don't know. Anybody else have that? If that's what you mean, Kiki, I'm not too sure if I answered it right, but that's my experience.
Yeah, like I do that when I I'm doing spirit work for people anyway. So I'll call their spirit forward and with the intention to bless them. But I have the message ahead of time. So it's very specific. It's not for a long period of time. I get the message from spirit like what needs to be released because it's like no different than you doing chakra work or candle work or any of those other kinds of different spiritual practices. So you're doing it on behalf of on behalf of somebody, right? So in this case, you probably got the idea from source saying, okay, I need you to be my ambassador of love here. And he needs this. And you feeling like, oh, he really needs to be encouraged. You get that information, the download from source, and then you call your DM forward by name. You're like, I just want to bless you with this message, spirit to spirit. And then you speak it into their life because death and life are in the power of your tongue. So as you are speaking life, now your words matter because they're becoming matter. Now those containers of power are just moving. You could even see them. Like, I don't know if you guys ever seen the cartoon Word World. So like if it was a tree, it'll say TREE, but it was in the shape of the tree. If it was the
Oh,
dogs, say
sure.
DOG and say, so it's the same thing.
I want to look
So,
this up. This looks so good. So good
so
for my
then
kids.
so as your words are speaking, you can even see them almost like blue flames coming out of your blue energy coming out of your mouth, going into your DM and empowering them. If that's encouragement, that would be probably, it depends on where it is, probably the solar and the heart chakra spaces, and seeing all that energy coming out of you into them and just filling that void. And then when you're done releasing that message as the ambassador of light, then you're like, I just wanted to bless you with that. I seal that in you with love and light. And I know that my words matter because they're effective. I don't have sluggish speech. I don't speak words that I don't mean. My words have power. And so, and then you release them and you're like, okay, my assignment is done. Bye. I'll go do something with it, you know. But that's something that you can do, you know, if you get that. Sometimes that's why we have an urge to text him. All of a sudden you're like, I really feel like I need to text him, but you're not sure. So you can always do the spiritual text. You can also like write them a letter, right? You can say, this is what you're feeling. And like, you know, dear beloved, I feel like this is what's happening with you. And I just want to encourage you. And you can say it out loud while you're saying it because your words matter, right? They're activating that reality. And then you can, you know, safely activate the energy by setting it ablaze, right? And you're releasing it that way. Because sometimes it also helps. Some people are more, they'd rather write it because they get more ideas or more downloads as they're kinetic, you know? So whatever way helps you to flow, or even like call them forward and like sometimes, you know, you just need to dance with them. You're like, it'll activate their sacral, their playfulness. And you're like, oh, I'm just going to dance for you. And you dance for them. You know, or you sing. My DM loves when I sing. So then I sing to him. And I know which songs he likes when I sing them. So I'll sing to him even in the 5D. And then, well, we're talking. So then he'll text me usually after I'm done because he picks it up in the 5D.
Well, he's right there. He's right next to you, like all the time.
All the time. So whatever again, is going, I keep on saying what Kathy said. Whatever that idea is, you know, go with it. You know, if you're feeling you have to encourage them in the 5D, then do it. And just do it in whatever idea you get. Dance, sing, write, pray, light a candle, you know, watch a movie together. I don't know. Whatever idea, like, you really want to watch that? Okay, well, we're just going to sit here and watch your favorite movie. So you feel connected, you know, and have the conversation about the movie and, you know, have some popcorn and it's just you and them in the 5D. So you can come out like very creative ways of loving someone. Again, those are just acts of love and kindness. So even if you're in separation, but you're like, man, I feel like I really need to do this. That's an act of love. Just move in that act of love. And you're always, like April talked about that before, it always comes back to you. It may not come back to you in the avatar that you released it in, but it always comes back because you're doing it with the intention of love, with the intention of helping, not the intention of, I'm going to do this for you, but I expect this to come back to me.
There you go.
And then you got your reward because you already got your attention. No, you just do it as an act of obedience of love. You're like, I am the ambassador of love. That's right now my mission. People talk about mission. Just your mission is whatever source is telling you to do in the moment. That's your mission.
I like that.
So if you have to, you know, pray for them, watch a movie with them, dance around, you know, even if it's silly, you're like, well, you know, one of your favorite songs, I'm in love with the stripper, then give him a strip tease in the 5D. Whatever. You're like, okay, we're in a playful.
I was like, my spirit self wants me to learn how to clap my booty.
It's like, there you go. And then, you know, you both activate your sacrals in a playful space, and maybe he just needed to be, or maybe he's doing it for all you know that he's sending you that message because he needs you to be in a playful space and he's feeling you. And so he knows that if he asks you a question and to do something for him, it's actually going to shift you out of your current energy. It may not even be, the question may not even be for his sake. It might be just for yours. But he knows you'll do it for him because you love him.
That's what I was going to piggyback on. I'll piggyback on that right now. But when you're sending that energy, be filled with it. Fill yourself up, fill your cup, and let all that extra just run over to him. And he can feel that vibe immediately. But specifically, I was saying that Jupiter's DM is like always right next to her. And it's almost like he wants you sitting on his lap. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual, but like he would just carry you this way, like just
Yeah.
Wherever you are, I just want to be up under you, supporting you.
That's what he was showing me right before I got on in the 5D. And normally he doesn't, but it was just I was seeing that one card in the sexual tarot. You know, the one, I think it's I forget which one. Maybe it was the Ace of Cups. I don't remember. But he's holding her up and he's supporting her that way. And they're both naked, but he's like holding her up. And he was just like, I just want to support you. And I was like, huh. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like, I think we should do that when I see you.
I'll be here for notes every Freaky Friday. Oh my goodness.
You know,
Yeah.
some people that are that have trouble, you know, calling in or not really sure how they're calling their DM in. A very simple way is to, you know, do a simple breathing exercise. And then you count back from 5 to 1. And as you count back from 5 to 1, you actually go down these steps. And so you're physically breathing, going down these steps in your mind. And then you're in whatever your favorite place it is for you and your DM or for you. And then you call them in. And that's a really good way to make sure that, I know there's some people that doubt that it's, you know, their DM or other energies and stuff. So if you're new at this, that's a great way to do it. And then once you get used to it, you know, they show up and tell you to go to the grocery store because they want to go play in Publix. But, you know, it's just, it's crazy things. And then, but if you needed some guidance on how to feel comfortable doing it, that's a great visualization to do the steps and go down them. And then, you know, it can be more advanced. There's other things. There's a path and there's 2 sides. But you know but the basics of it is just to go down this.
I don't know if you guys got the 411 event from Jupiter 1111. We did a 411 event, and we did a whole conversation, like specifically the playground as bonus material. We take you through the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D. Now, if you're dealing with certain emotional blockages, you're going to get stuck in the 4D situation. By the time that you're actively, purposefully communicating with your DM in 5D, you have a level of awareness and security in your power and your gift and your intuition. If you're still hopping back and forth on whether or not you believe or know what you have confidence in that, I would really go back to the basics of understanding your confidence, understanding yourself and your intuition and your guidance, because you've been led so far to get to this point. But I feel like most of us are at, let's say, middle school, high school, going towards college level on communicating with our DM in the 5D. And that's when the college level breaks out the sexual tarot 18 plus.
Yeah, I have so in my meditation of tools as well, the heart to heart, that was invented for you to be able to connect with your DM better too. So you could go to divineUnisouls11.co, and that's one of the tools that you can be able to use to help you to do that connection, that through the heart to heart. Because again, you know, telepathically, we're not doing the brain anymore. You're communicating telepathically from heart to heart. So that's a way of how to be able to get back in touch with that.
Divine Mission also has a meditation that talks about, like, is it self-esteem or something like that? That having confidence is going to be the biggest step and foundation for you to have constant communication.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to know. It's not a belief anymore. You get to know who you are and know your energy. And you can have a fluctuation of, I'm willing to be wrong, or I'm willing to be open about the changing of this, because that non-attachment is what allows the freedom to keep going. Right? We have this old programming and conditioning of, well, what if I'm wrong, or I can't be wrong, or what, I need my grades to be an A, and 1 + 1 has to equal 2. Well, I've seen 1 + 1 = 11. I've seen 1 + 1 = 0. I've seen 1 + 1 = 1. So in terms of like combining logic and spirituality. Logic is a concept that is circular in nature. It's built on itself. So if you're finding some conflicts in your mental programming, we get to explore and retrain our brain, reprogram ourselves.
Yeah,
to
and
be-
because when you feel that resistance, go right away and sit with it and understand why you're feeling that, because at this point, with everything moving so fast, we don't have time for it just to lay around. You need to sit with it. You need to understand where it came from. You either need to tell it, hike its ass in the back seat, and shut the hell up, enjoy the ride, or, deal with it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Where we are. I'm trying to see. April, did you want to? We got another question. Hold on a second. Wait a second. I see Margaret. Did we answer this one? How do you stay balanced energetically with the crazy energies going on everywhere around us? Just go with the flow.
Prayer.
Right? Like a wave, like a surfer. It go up, you go up. It go down, you go down. You let it just observe it and let it flow through you. That's my message for that too as well. Yes, April.
One of the things that we've been talking about over and over again, the golden egg energy. I don't know if we did it on the last video, the last healing that we did. Her phone died. The last video that we did. But your energy, I make my energy. I've been doing this since I was like, I don't know, 17, 18 years old. You make your energy so big that it's bigger than the room, it's bigger than the house, it's bigger than the block, it's bigger than the city. In fact, there's been times where I've been bigger than the whole planet. And like I engulf this universe and then go into another one. You are so powerful that nothing stirs you. And then in the very beginning, I always was like, pretend like everything is the cast of the Muppet Babies. And we're in a giant episode of the Muppet Babies, but everyone likes to think that they're adults. Right? They have this like, I'm pretending to be an adult today, but I'm really a kid in an adult body. And once you realize that they're all a bunch of children who are screaming out for attention or screaming out for justice and peace and stuff, those things will come because we've already won. Like I've already seen the other side. We won. We're good. This is that last little outpush of dark energy. But you just want to be able to. There's a difference between empathy and sympathy, and you can acknowledge someone's feelings without taking them on. And a lot of taking on energies have to do with what was that thing that I used to have that I'm clearing out right now. It's not. Is it approval or is it what is it? Being approved by other people? Like I constantly am seeking approval or
people pleaser.
People pleasing. That's it. So people pleasing can sometimes integrate itself as looking like empathy, but you don't need to do that. That's a choice. Yeah, like I can feel someone's emotions and not take them now. There was a point earlier in the path where I felt like I had to take everybody's emotions and stuff. I would put my hands on people, start weeping, taking their sorrow and stuff. It's like, oh, that's not my job. They need to process it themselves so that they can move on to their next stage or level. Because when teach a man to fish, he eats for a meal. Something the opposite. Give a man a fish.
He'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll
for a lifetime. And that's the deal with emotional processing. But people need to be aware that they're having the emotions. They get to give themselves permission to have emotions. And that's what's happening as we're balancing and the divine feminine rising and takeover is the shift of what it means to be masculine, ultimately. Because now they're allowed to have emotions. They're allowed to process this stuff. But then once they process it, what to do next, right? Because you don't want to become overly identified with the anger or the hurt or whatever, That's just a part or phase that now gets to be alchemized and changed. And back to the journaling or the writing of the letters. Let that stuff out. Let it out, turn it, let it change forms, or let it be directed as an energy.
Margaret said something a little higher up about 5D and the DM. He's very talkative in the 5D sometimes, and sometimes there we go. Don't get scared. It's nothing you're doing wrong. And it's funny, Benita and I literally just had this conversation this morning about something we realized about that is once you're doing a lot of the communication through the 5D and stuff with the DM, what before felt like pulling away and running now is stepping back, going, this is fine on this level, but I'd really like it in the 3D. And we feel like it's them moving more toward that motion in the 3D is something that we both have picked up on that. So, it's really true what she says, don't be scared. You're not doing anything wrong. Just keep doing what you're doing.
It makes sense to me. I'm sorry. I was having a conversation with the DM in my head. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Did he tell you what kind of card he wanted to do to you?
No, he wasn't talking about me. It was something that was said, and he was like, they were wrong on that. But I was like, okay, I'll be quiet.
What was it? What was it? I want to know.
It was something you said earlier. I'll talk to you in private about that. But he's like, she wasn't right on that one.
You got scolded by the DM. Ooh,
but it's all individual. She's talking to all the DMs or her DM.
Said it. It was a comment you had said. You said, I said. He said, no, say it. Okay, be quiet. So he was saying that.
That's her DM.
All right. He was like, I said, well, she said that Jupiter's is always standing by his side. He said, yeah, I don't need to stand by your side because I'm in you. So that she was wrong about that.
But there's a difference though, because it's about how you accept the union.
I got you. I had to correct him. He argumentative. I'm sorry. If you see him in person,
I'm excited to meet him because I know he's gonna be one of them. The two just and I'm like, oh, they need a radio show. This is about to be real.
And that actually, the comment was probably for me because when you were saying that he's always, he's supporting me, because that's one of the areas where it's kind of been a sore spot. And so then recently, all day today, he's been showing me that picture of support, and then you said it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not just making stuff up. Of like being, it was like, so it was supportive. So maybe not like all DMs, but mine definitely, that was my DM speaking through you, saying, oh yeah, he's always around you and supporting you and having you like on the lap. And because that's very much like, he's always like, yeah, come sit on Poppy's lap. That's totally him. That's totally like, that's my man right there.
Lord have mercy. Well, I apologize on my behalf of our union that he showed out like.
Men are so funny, though. Men are so funny.
That don't even make no sense. Okay.
Sometimes mine will come through me, like I feel him in me. Sometimes I'll feel him next to me. Sometimes I'll feel him clearing the space, right? He set me up, so I'm supportive, but I'm like, but I need that D, bro. Where you at? DM, hello. Okay, oops. What are we at?
Quarantine.
We can't edit it out. It's live. So
I told you about the FCC. I'm gonna give you the dime. Keep it up. All right. What took me a bit to hold on. Is that saying? Is she okay? It took me a bit to realize that on the FD he had to reassure me, and I finally got it. That's good, Margaret. Good.
Mm-hmm. That's
Margaret's
wonderful,
on top of it. Margaret's doing the good juggle.
I love Margaret's comments just from when we've started going live. The difference in in her progress in this dance has been amazing.
I want to say that. Why be moody when you can shake your booty?
Miro Scott said,
back to clapping the butt cheeks. Oh, here we go.
Dance, make a dance.
You get that hypnotherapy session, Divine.
Some people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. They call me the gangster of love.
Okay, let me see. So are we down to me since you didn't hit the McNasty?
I like that one. The McNasty.
That's what McNasty with the Kundalini twist.
Margaret asked real quick, does the DM channel through others in your everyday life?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
I just did through April.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he tried, and this one he owed me a whole boatload of stuff.
He invades everybody's space. He'll go into Divine Unisouls and he'll bug her. It's like, send her the message when him and I are not speaking. He'll show up in her readings and she's like, I know who. And she'll look sometimes at the reading. She's like, I'm not talking to you.
Right. I'm not talking to you, just like the DM did. I'm like, get on out. We ain't start no fight
He's
on
super powerful. He's amazing. I'm so stoked for your.
Mine comes from Benita.
Yeah,
He'll love her. Yeah, he'll send her songs. I think the poor woman is traumatized over the Little Mermaid song "Kiss the Girl," so because she'll be like washing dishes or anywhere, and she's like, "Your man," and I'm like, "Oopsie." But hers does the same thing to me. I think sometimes when they think they're not getting through to us, they most definitely they use people close to us. They use the radio. My children have come out singing songs that were written before I was born. You know, "Fly Me to the Moon" has become a new song in my house from my 9-year-old. And, then I get the message from, Benita that he's sending her that. So, yeah, we get it from all over.
Oh,
I think it's to encourage us, right? So then we're like, oh, are we making this stuff up? And then they'll like, nope. And you'll know because they'll use the same syntax that is unique to your person, or like the same music that they like, or the same song that you know that they like. And so it's like them saying, no, I'm here and I'm communicating and you're not crazy.
That's an interesting one.
The DMs they also pair up. They'll pair up and they'll tag team. The DMs, they'll tag team because I've seen them, both mine and Benita's, take over both Divine Sunshine and Jupiter's readings. Yeah, they'll just come in there and it's just like, there they are.
Ernesto some stuff behind me. Ernesto came up in here and pop up some stuff back here. And also I didn't learn him too. He come drive by with the daggone zoom. I said, who is this? That's my guy. I already know. Coming on through. So yeah. And then I was surprised my DM hit you up, Kathy. I was surprised too. You said that. So especially when you said he said it and he didn't have it with no tag. I said, my damn. He's like, I shouldn't say this because this sounds mean. I said, well, what was it? Blah, 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 blah. I say, that's him.
So Muriel Scott asked a question. It's a very
I'm sorry. Wait, this was
before that. This is something. Yeah, have you ever heard of the DM coming back? I have. It's like a straight up. Remember Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg? Nobody said nothing about the fact that Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore did the first lesbian scene that was very popular, won awards.
Right.
Whoopi Goldberg as the form of.
Never watch that movie the same again. Thank you.
What is have you ever heard of it? I want clarification. There you go. See?
There you go.
That's what he said. I heard you.
Anita, he's here.
Divine Sunshine, I heard you. You messed with me. What does she mean by like if they passed on and they come back?
Yeah, she said a subsequent thing that says, but in 3D form. I've never heard of them coming back in full 3D form. It's usually like messages or symbols or actions through another vessel.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about with kids, God bless them. They're so sweet and so open to channels. Make sure you're protecting your children and teaching them how to protect themselves energetically. Even though they come in with a lot of fail safes, like they're super protected, but at a certain point, they need to take the reins of that, because anything can come through people. I've been watching people get possessed right now. There's a lot of trauma happening. There's a lot of fear being spread. There's a lot of like craziness happening. So you really need to work on that protection energy. And you can send that to your DM. You can send that to your children. My kid's like in a solid orb. Like that kid is untouchable. Straight from the great I am, he came from before in a golden orb. And so, we're good. Are you from Haiti? I haven't.
It's another one. Clear. Or I wish y'all had access to it. I could be doing two things and y'all could be doing that at the same time. Ruling this stuff.
If the demon comes back, if he's passed on, it will be as a child. So, a baby. It would be like the recycle. In which case you wouldn't know unless the child is in your path. It wouldn't come like all of a sudden be activated in another human being. That would just be like another twin flame. Because I do know that there's like some twin flames, we talked about that earlier, of that their beloveds have passed on, right? And so they're still alive. And so if they end up with a twin flame, it might be another twin flame that were now single in this side of life. But there wouldn't, in the recycle, he wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be like a ghosting, right? Because then he'll be possessing another person's spirit and body. And yeah, that's a no-no.
That's like anti the twin flame, energy that we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have heard of some of the Caribbean religions and stuff believing in that if a person hadn't finished their work on earth, that they come back in a body of another person to finish. But I'm not sure how that works on the two different spectrums for the twin flame thing too. That doesn't.
It resonate. It does not resonate. Is
No.
what we're saying.
But I could see where she gets that, especially being from Haiti. I've heard of that. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's about possession.
There are walk-ins. There are walk-ins. She's talking about like possible walk-ins, but that isn't necessarily. I don't know. It's like because I've even seen like interviews of people who died on the table but came back completely different and not knowing or remembering. And it wasn't just amnesia. They're like, I don't feel that. I'm not connected to you. We're not family. You know what I mean? Like they had that whole section thing, but it's starting to meddle, and in that higher energy, it's one thing or another.
Oh, you fill in the blank. Okay.
What if it's what if it's a contract between the two different souls? Now, you ladies, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but I believe we only have one DM.
Right.
Is that correct? All right. So
there's a thing that happens between whether it depends, because everything is in flux. Okay. To be real, everything is changing. And there is a theory that DM can be a specific person or it can be an energy. And there is a possibility of, because I can see it, of if your twin flame does not understand fully their contract, leaves their physical body, that energy can then shift to a different person, but it's not their soul that goes to that person. That soul is then recycled into the process, but that other person takes on the role of your DM, and then you kind of reintegrate so that your purpose is still kept as a unionizing twin flame.
It's like a contract if you think about it, right? Like if I buy Divine Universal's store, right? Because she decides she's going to sell it, then I buy all her assets. And I'm not going to buy her liabilities. But I'll go and I'll buy her assets, and now her assets are mine. So it could be like that, where it's a switch of energy, where that soul contract is nullified, but the contract has been transferred to another who will be all in and will be accepting of the assets, you know? So it could be something like that. I remember David from Soul Mission and I were talking about that, like might be like that energy thing, and having more than one, but for most of us, we feel like it's like one person is embodying that because it's supposed to be two souls, and then if there's a break of the soul contract, then that's something that you would know. Though I think like it that you would know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the soul contract has been severed, because Source will already be prepping you for it. So that's why it's so why all possibilities and probabilities exist. So is a possibility? Yeah. Is it a probability though? There's a difference. Sure, but it might be slim, because that means one person has to release the soul contract, unless that there's something that you're supposed to do, and then Source is like, I'm going to now sever it, because I have a volunteer who's going to accept the energy and help you finish that off. So that might be a possibility, because all possibilities exist. But think of it like if it's a contract. If you just think of it like a black and white contract, this was a soul contract, and if that's going to be severed, but you still want the DM, that energy or that kind of connection will happen with somebody else. And we see it. We see it with, and how we know is because we see it with soulmates. Soulmates over time develop the same kind of connection that twin flames have. The difference is that twin flames is instant. It's like we're instantly connected because we're continually being pulled back to each other like magnets. With soulmates, that connection, the telepathy, all that stuff that twin flames have is developed over time because they're in each other's space. So we see that in quantum physics, right? They keep on interfering with each other and deciding to be together and solidifying their soul contract. And so over time, they have the same kind of tie that a twin flame has. Ours is just instant. Theirs is over time.
To be honest, there's a lot of talk about, well, I could just go with a soulmate. If your if your twin is still alive in a physical body, you will forever be hungry. You will never be satisfied. Unfortunately, you can try lie to yourself, but then you create a different level of karma, and then blah 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 blah. What was it? Many were called, but few were chosen. So you will just step up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think probably the only exception to those rules is that if like the DM was like super toxic in the form of like abuse, massive abuse that wouldn't stop, and like real abuse, like physical abuse, hardcore emotional abuse. Some people believe that like, well, if he's a narcissist, then he can't be a twin flame.
Oh,
but
hell.
who are we to say?
No, clearly that's the major thing that everybody needs processing. Sorry, twin flames take on everything for the collective, and we're all processing small parts of it. So if your twin flame's narcissist, well, yeah, because that's a majority of what's going on right now is a lot of child. Basically, I'm going to just broad spectrum say this, but it's child abuse that's created narcissistic kids. Created a narcissistic adult who hasn't been able to process, who's stuck in arrested development. So here we go. Let's process. And you can be processing it through a karmic. It doesn't necessarily have to be your DM as well. There's a lot of shifting and stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes I learned this. I have not seen this guy. He's used to be a reader that was in New York. He used to do a thing called Morning Coffee, and I forgot what his name is. He had a small guy, mind you, Prince with long hair and glasses. But he had hit me to understanding and saying that, at times you will ask your divine counterpart to be your karmic, which is to teach you karma. And I did not know that because, I was stuck in that understanding and saying, oh, this is always going to be flower and roses and candy. And this can't be my guy because he's doing everything else but being that stuck in ego, X, Y, and Z. But he's like, sometimes you will ask that because sometimes you're like, I'm not going to get this lesson unless you teach it to me. I don't want anybody else to teach me that. So I want you to be my teacher. And that's what you all have. Some of you all have agreed to it in your higher self. You probably say, hell no, I didn't. But I can't speak for your higher self. But your higher self did say yes. They said, I like the way you teach, like a hard teacher. And I know if you teach me, I'm going to learn it. And I'm not going to ask for the teacher to get the lesson over again. So yes, that does happen. Yes, there is Santa Claus, little Timmy, or whatever it is that's in your mind about the comic. Because yes, it does. I don't know where you got it. And I seen that too. And the lady was talking about it. It ain't no. Yeah, if they teach you hard and they do anything to you nasty, then that's been flame. No, that is not so. I don't know where we getting that from. They're like that. You don't learn anyway. Period. Like that. If you just keep on going on easy street, you don't learn nothing. And this is Earth. What I tell y'all, this is Earth. This is a teachable planet. At all times, you're getting taught lessons. So it's no way able to do that. I'm sorry. Okay. Still, so his blood is blood. Is blood. Oh, that's
Okay, I think that's what I want to do for the meditation. That's what came through because
okay.
we're pushing through the pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, let's take a deep breath together. Let's take another one. Just stretch out all the stiff parts. Allow that spaces to open up. It's just squeeze yourself really small. Squeeze yourself really tight and just loosen up. We won't do the full on star moment. Yes, there we go. Oh my goodness. Our spines are opening up. Everything's allowed to flow. I know you feel the flow a little bit more. That's good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's surround ourselves with our golden egg. This egg it goes from silver to gold to rose gold to violet. So we are in a safe, protected space. Now just fill your air with your arms and allow the air around you to become thick like water. Ooh, on the next breath, it becomes even thicker like milk, and then it becomes creamy, or it's kind of hard to, more difficult to move, but you can still move. This is your energy. This is your life. This is your life. Okay. Now, I want you to tuck your pelvis under and relax. I want you to activate your roots. So you're squeezing your perineum and your pelvic muscles, your pelvic floor muscles. Just squeeze them and release. Let that energy of your sacral wake up. Just kind of spin it in a circle. Ooh, let that fire rise up to your solar plexus, into your heart, into your high heart. Let that jump back in your throat. Into the third eye. And your ears. Let your ears open up so that you can hear spirit clearly. Hear your own intuition. And rise it up to your crown. And then just above your crown. And we're going to trace the energy with our hands. And we're going to go out and down and back, up through our toes, to our knees, to our hips. And then let it come up your center, up to your heart. And yes, throat, third eye. Ooh, and just go again, all the way down. We're going to go like a big yoga thing. Ooh, all this heat. So you feel this flow. Stop moving your hands now. You feel the flow of energy. It's like a big donut. We've allowed it to purge out, down and down. Now we're going to send it the opposite way. Okay? We're going to come in. And down through the center. Through a third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, hips, and again, all down. Yes, the heavens are allowing this to come through. Now we're going to call in our light bodies. Allow that energy to come in. Now, all of these emotions that we're processing, all of these things that we're allowing to come through, have been designed to create this space right now. It's good. Let it clear out for all of us. Come on, guys. Come on, now. You're doing it. You're doing the work. You're not a slacker. Wow, you're doing it. Yes, it's coming through. So we have anything that we're carrying, just allow it to process through with the heavens assisting us, going through our body, alchemizing, changing, shifting, coming all the way out. Squeeze your pelvic floor muscles and release and let that energy go through your legs, out through your feet, and then it changes as soon as it exits you. And it's allowed to come back in different form. So whatever you're carrying with you, whatever kind of anxieties, fears, whatever kind of tension is building up, you want it to be able to flow through you and release and change and return into form. Just as our loving one, we allow that. You're feeling some heartbreak, some fear, some trust issues. It's all right. It looks like we're holding back tears too. We're holding back all of this pain. And just allow it to flow through and change. And it runs through you like water. From your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root. And we're going to just hold our root, hold your pelvic floor for a second, and let that energy flow in from heaven. I'll let the energy to flow through your chakra system. Allow your light body to flow through, and then you want to release your pelvic floor and you feel it flush out of you like water. Tap your heels to the ground. Allow it to just make its way through. It's okay. It's okay that we've had these experiences because they've allowed us to become a strong, beautiful, resilient, loving human being that we were brought here to be. It's okay that we've had our separation. We can come into you. We know that we are loved and accepted. We know that we are worthy. We know. Squeeze that pelvic floor and let the energy build that comes through you. Oh, I'm feeling like everybody needs to rock their hips kind of around. I'm feeling that block. Oh man. There you go. Some of us don't want to release. We think it defines us, a woman or a man. We think that the pain defines us, but it isn't the pain that defines us. It's what our actions are. Okay, release. Just loosen your jaws. Just come back. So that when you guys are going through, you guys are going through the emotions. The DMs are coming in. The DMs are having them powers. The DMs are flushing that. You send them that. So it looks like a big donut of light. You feel that? Did you see how that was working? You send that ability, that skill to your DM so he can process and he can move. Because he feels stuck with the energy. He feels stuck like he cannot move. But he can. He can flow. He can flow directly to you. He can flow free. All of the things that happen, any wrong, he knows he can come to you and still be accepted and still be loved. Clearing the heart space. More safe. More safe in our energy life. Come back. Come back in your body. This is I like this tapping point right here at the end of the sternum. It really brings you back into body and back in the present moment. Yeah. Ooh, everything just kind of popped and released. I don't know how you guys feeling. How was that? That's
Good.
Good.
Just that energy movement. Just that. If you can see it's called a torus. Is the shape.
Mhm.
but it's a big donut of energy.
Okay.
When things come in, we process them this way. I don't know if it was the last video or the one we did before that, but we anchored in the high heart energy. That's the way we're grounding now, so we can grounded from source in our love. And I feel the heat happening. I feel the changes going on throughout the earth. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Who's ready? It's Freaky Friday, full moon Freaky Friday, lunar eclipse Freaky Friday.
There was a phrase that came to mind when you were talking about separation right now, and the phrase was is from Florence Scovel Shinn, and it was I am one with the undivided one, and therefore I am one with my undivided good. And so when you feel in those moments like I'm in separation from my DM, but you are not in separation from the undivided one. So then if you can refocus on that, might be so in the 3D, but in actuality you're never separated from the undivided one. And that's why you can't be separated from your undivided good and from the things that are yours by divine right, because that's the union we should be focusing on.
Yes. Whoa, I just had like a ton of thoughts at once. Who's in state of upgrade?
Me.
What came through was, how is separation serving you?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are, as just in that holy light, how we are of service. That's what we're here for, to do. We are of service. So how is it serving you? And it's going to be it's so beautiful right now, that feeling of being accepted as you are by your beloved. That feeling of accepting yourself as you are, because your beloved is always with you. I really do like that sentiment. Thank you, Jupiter.
Okay. This is the overall energies for what is on here for us. Want to do it. Not divine masculine. You know, we got new things now. We are divine feminine and divine masculine energy. So we're talking about the connection within ourselves, the union within ourselves. So I'm gonna take it from that aspect. So what came out? Okay, one of these Kama Sutra cards. I swear by God, Jupiter, how you? I mean, Lord, I got to get me a magnifying glass. I'm at the from a mom to be able to see what the heck how they connected. Now I can't see them daggone Sutra one. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me I'm gonna switch y'all to the side for a second. Oh, don't be insulted. Okay, so I can kind of see what's going on. Because I
We've
can't
been
see
made
what's
smaller for the Kama Sutra.
for the McNasty, you can stay small. No, okay, all right. So here we go.
Anything for the McNasty.
For the I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. We got 10 of Pentacles here. So in our emotions, in our thinking, we're really kind of admiring how emotions are really being bringing the fruit of our labor home, which is we are being very vulnerable to things, and we're really comfortable with the skin that we're in our emotions. It's our thinking that we got to work on as far as being on equal footing or equal ground. Because anytime when I see the masculine down here, the energy here, and the feminine energy is up higher to me, you're admiring it, but you're not on that same level. It's like I'm kind of like Googling, like a little boy that's got a crush on a older woman. She's pretty, but we ain't on the same level to me. So for me, that's it's a little bit. We got to get our emotions, our thinking on the same level as our emotions, so it can be able to draw in the fruits of our labor. The same thing. What are we putting out there to manifest in our thinking? So we've got to kind of like watch that, because again, to me, when I see 10 of Pentacles, again, in our 3D thinking, again, is how it, to me, this is the admiration card. Okay. Here
What was
we
that
have
running down her chest?
Flowers.
But it looks like a line.
it's fruit. It's got grapes, apples.
Oh, it's fruit.
That's why I say fruit.
Okay.
Who's
Okay.
hungry?
And then she's got a mirror there. So again, she's kind of looking at her own reflection too in this process as well. So, but the divine masculine to me, when I look at this in the energies, is like, oh, you got grapes. How did you go about getting that? And so it's again, they bring me a reference of wine, like pressing it and becoming and turning it into like juice. I'm about to say Jesus juice, but into wine, and some kind of reference it wants me to make to the wine, pressing and creating it. And that's something that the divine masculine energy wants to know, how can it do that? Because in the feminine energy, it seems like she's in boss mode, but the thing in divine masculine energy is quite not there yet. Okay, now in this one, we have the next card, which is King of Swords. So again, there's a conflict here. What I see him here is this is kind of in the ego. This is boss mode, but this is boss mode to me in the wrong, and as far as energies in the wrong, for the wrong reasons here. You see, he's not kind of concentrating on her here, but she's really pretty much, he has been humbled herself. This is what I pick up. I got to look at her in this here. And so I see the nurturing. So we got two breasts here. Here. So again, he's trying to pretend like, I don't need you. But at the same time, the divine masculine energy does say, okay, well, I'm going to get nurtured. My understanding, which is what you're doing, I'm going to gain my understanding through that by touching my feet. So my feet touch your breast. So that's kind of like on the slide here. So the divine masculine energies here acting like, he's in this on his throne, but at the same time, he's also not acting as if with that feet there, kind of undercover with it and say, but yeah, I still need you. So no matter what the situation is, I see he's being watched here as well. This one, I look at this, to me, every time when I see this card, it reminds me of somebody who is a very mothered figure, or a very somebody kind of female figure that's of authority, and he's very putting on this act for, so now it is kind of turning into the divine masculine, almost 3D energies in some ways, putting on this act for this, whoever this mother figure is. So that could go several ways. The sword is down on the floor as well. And so that means the sword of truth is with it on the divine feminine energy. She's got the green, so whatever it is that she's got around her root area, which means that she is grounded and rooted in her heart chakra. So that goes back to April saying using the heart instead of grounding to Mother Earth, you heart grounding through your heart chakra. But at the same time, there is a connection, but he's in denial to me when I look at this card about the connection. Here we got the Hermit card here. So again, he is saying, I'm going to take some time out to look and see how can I rekindle this flame, or that has been distinguished or put out according to him, extinguished, sorry, to him. He's got to get rooted in some things, because when I see that being covered, that means that's a part of him that he's got to work on. He's got to uncover that. But the good thing, again, he's underneath a tree, so he's gaining some knowledge. And then also on top of that, he has the idea of how he wants to be in this twin flame relationship, which is, to me, when I say she's got her back, that means he wants to be, this commerce goes like Jupiter 11. I got your back, which means support to me. When they mess with your back, that means they want to be your support. Okay, so they're lying down to that one. Now, here come the Kama Sutra cards. The Kundalini with a twist here. I got to put this a little. Okay, so I can see it. Oh, yeah, I can see it a little better, too. Okay, so right now it's again in the energies, the divine masculine. There is a balance there. So we got the sword there.
We're all like this.
Don't mind us. We're all in separation. We're all like
in the divine feminine energies. Now that's interesting. The sword and the shield is on her side. So something about you feeling like maybe you might have wanted to be defensive in your divine feminine energies as far as the connection. You're kind of putting it down. When I call it lay your sword down, lay your thing in the shield there. It's in the grass. She's being bent Again, she's got to be in her emotions. The divine feminine feels in this connection that you got to be open. Divine feminine energy says has to be open to it, to receive the connection from the divine masculine. I always want to say something else crass, but I know better than that. And so the divine masculine, it looks like he's saying in the divine masculine energies, he's trying to help her. But the funny thing is, he's got his hand over her eyes. Like, you can't see what I can see. Like, I don't want you to see what I'm doing. Which is very interesting because he's got his hand. Ain't that his hand, or is he trying to balance her foot? I'm trying to see. But it's an interesting position there. No, it's not. It's not even over her eyes. To me, it looks like it's covering her third eye. In emotions. This is the sword. So it's a conflict there of really being able to see in the divine feminine energies as far as what's happening with this connection.
So
and then
can I ask a question just to see how this flows? In the picture you had before, the masculine wasn't looking in the correct direction, right? He wasn't paying attention to what was happening. But now it's saying that, oh, I'm sorry, that was 2 cards ago. So
this okay.
No, the
one before that one.
Are you talking about this 2 cards before?
The king. Yeah. So the king is like looking out. His eyes are closed. I can't see the picture. That's why I'm asking clarification.
Really looking off to the side.
Okay, so he's looking off to the side, and then in that other picture, he's kind of like covering her with the hand.
Yeah, it's over her third eye. Oh, I can't see. See this right here. Look.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That's really interesting. He wants her open, but then at the same time, he's got the third eye. It's almost like I don't know if he'd say, I don't want you to see what I'm doing. I don't know if I want you to see how this is going to manifest in your emotions. But he's got this covered.
There's clearly plenty of fluids. I'm just saying there's plenty of fluids. So so there's a matter of receiving pleasure, but not necessarily like what I use that analogy because my ex taught shooting. And he said you can't anticipate the shot or else you miss because your whole body's tensed up. Because she's relaxed and she's allowed to have all of this going, but she's not really. It's like it's a 3D, not 3D situation, but it's a personal to person action. It's like I'm helping you receive this pleasure. Shut your mind off. Shut your mind down.
Oh, thank you. Tell me something, because I was like, okay, that was interesting. I mean, over the third eye, it's like it's something else I don't want you to see. I don't want you to see this trick. I'm about to put it in. I just don't want you. I didn't know what.
Well, like that's the one thing that'll stop me in my tracks is my mind, right?
Right.
That's how we won't receive the pleasure from our DM. We won't receive him if we're overthinking and we're putting all this judgment or like it has to look this way and it's got to look that way and divine says it's coming from that. It's like sometimes you just get stuff coming out of left field and you just gotta like accept that giant thing to get a puddle of.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. She didn't win deep then, so I don't know if you can see. Let me put it this way. So what's going on?
See, that was my DM channeling through April again because I'm always saying about monsooning.
So what is this one here then? So you're on the road, April. What is this?
Oh, there's another puddle. Is that a puddle? I can't see. Is that fabric? I hope it's not dry grass because that is not comfortable. When you put your finger there,
it looks like it's a type of maybe like clothing that they're laying on. Because if you notice, the other body's on like the pink one.
She's on the blue and he's on like purple.
Oh, is her mouth open too?
Oh, come on, Jupiter. You got your cards. You can like sit through and look through them.
Let me look through real quick.
Yeah, you putting in there on that one. Yeah, her mouth is open. But it's just in a restful position. It's not like or anything like that. He's got like a tiny cup here. So the divine masculine wants to give like a small offering of love. When I see that little tiny cup there. And so she's looking like she's kind of it's interesting. She's open to receive. Anytime I see their head on the pillow, that means she's comfortable. She's got an arm here. But what makes me a little alarmed is that she's got this arm like this, which lets me know she's still kind of protecting. It's like you can only come so far. So it's almost like that it's safe to love card where it's like they come in and the guy is still holding the arm there. It's like he embraces her, but her arm, he's stopping her arm from coming so far to it. So this is what is to me in the divine feminine energies. She's stopping still.
And
Uh
red, so
I'm
she's
closer, but not
rooted.
too close.
right. That's what I'm picking up here. Is saying that, and for the divine masculine, it's like, but I got this little small token, and it's like, yeah, but I ain't accepting that. I'm free, but at the same time, something about that I don't know about if I won't trust you to get too close with that. So that's why I'm picking up, but it's still a connection there. And he's taking his arm, his hand there, and he's like trying to tell her, like, open up so I can get it in. That's what I'm seeing. I put that one.
But
See,
and there's something in her belief system that
yeah,
that is preventing her from, and she's willing to talk about it. She's obviously willing to receive something,
uh-huh.
but
Right,
she doesn't fully want to let go.
Yeah, I'm hearing
right.
the Madonna song. Open your heart to me, baby. I hold the lock and you hold the key.
Yeah.
Open your heart to me, darling. What's that?
The kids today.
You know
Things
that.
at the end. Okay, so somebody got it. We got to go to the library. We got to do some studying here. We got to go back and hit the books. Jupiter 1111 says is because we ain't quite there at the finish line yet. We got a lot of conflicting things here. I want it, I don't want it. He loves me not.
You know what that looks like?
What it
To
looks like. It looks
me,
like the
it
Akashic
looks
records.
like the Akashic records.
That's what I said. It looks like the Akashic records. So now what's the
No,
Akashic records? Explain that, April. I know what it is, but I like
the
everybody else.
Akashic records are kind of like the history of and the future of every and all things written in a specific place. Like they say, the keepers of the Akashic records are the whales, because they can sing the song and know the dance of the universe, right? The flow of the universe, and that's how they speak. They speak in songs. And so, as we are stepping to this new earth, we get to redefine and reopen, because there's several different dimensions of realities and different timelines, and we are now able to choose which timeline we go into. We're writing the books of our future history.
There
Future
you
history. I'm not talking riddles. No.
No. That's very clear that you're gonna have to do. I see the window open there too. So yeah, to gain access to some things, and I see the world too. To me, it's like you're gonna have to use that to understand where you are, like your place in the world as well. But as well as well, so you can be able to understand that. So I hear also, like you're saying about the history of Cotton Street Records. I hear hit the books, get study some more to get a better understanding where you are, because I see lights here like Calabra lights here where it's got the candles lit here too. So in order for you to get some more enlightenment amongst all these books and knowledge, you're going to have to do that. Then I got the next card here, which is water. I put it in there because this is kind of juicy. So yeah. So now that means, and to me, in your emotions, still we got to struggle there in your thinking and in your emotions as well. The divine feminine energies and the divine masculine energies, and understanding like in your emotions, you're trying to stay afloat, and it looks like your thinking is trying to like rise you above even in your emotions as well. Down at the bottom, you seem like you're invulnerable. It seems like you're sacral because that's exposed, but the rest of you still has clothing on, and it's like your thinking is trying to save your emotions. So we got to kind of watch that. Pretty much there. It's and like I said, it's a lot of, to me, it's a lot of conflicting. It's like I want it, I don't want it, I want it. I'm figuring it out how I can try to get this. I want this connection, but you talk about covering up my third eye. I want this, but then at the same time, I'm saying, you come here, don't get too close. So that's why they say you need to hit the books. You need to go back again and study some more. Look at your past, look at your future, seeing how you're creating this new one, to understand your location in this world. And again, in your thinking is trying to help get you out this situation, but your emotion is acting like it's dead weight, like you doing that. What's that? That dead man float. That's what's happening. Like that. It's not really helping to anything. So at the same time, you might have to. I see air here. I see the kiss my butt. To me, just walking away. You're gonna have to get rid of some things here. Some
You know
stuff.
what's
Yeah.
coming through is I'm hearing the inner union of the masculine, feminine, redefining what masculinity is, redefining what a man is, and how to be able to receive from a man. How to
Yeah.
be able to receive a masculine energy, because part of us is being that obstinate. I'm going to protect. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to blind myself from myself. And it's like, you don't need to do that. You can open into yourself. You can sit, kiss your, you can let all those things that no longer serve you, just kiss them goodbye. And
There you go.
apparently it's a very beautiful way to let them go. They will be
Right.
so happy to see you walk away. You know what I'm saying?
I love to see you go. I know you do. But you also, and it's going to help transform you too. It's going to help transform you too as well. Last one, they got King of Water. So in your thinking, this looks like to me you're going to kind of be sitting pretty in your thinking as well. But this is in your emotions. So your divine masculine energies, you're going to be able to. This looks very relaxed. It's like, I kind of, I'm okay with where I am. He's got that casual, with taking things casually as well. So with this water here, King of Water is again that having that energy of the king, knowing my strategy, knowing when to kind of push, when to kind of pull away, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Kind of attitude that I see here. It's very relaxed. It's very relaxed. I don't see anything negative this on this card. I see, but around here, this is interesting. Is this crickets? Crickets. Maybe not. Nah, it's just flowers. It look like
Looks
cricket
like
stuff.
he's sitting on a turtle shell.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Blue 77 said something about turtles and what they represent. Which was very interesting. It was like they almost represented life or something like that. So
Well,
he's sitting.
according to the Native Americans, the turtle is the earth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
So she is the foundation for all of our everythings. Our existence is on the back of a turtle.
oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So he's, seemed like even in his emotions having mastery over it. And then I tried to do the cards. It told me it didn't have nothing for the rebel blank. It told us to fill in the blank. It's like, I have nothing. You fill in the blank. I guess they say you all over the place. You're gonna have to learn how to. I don't think the
We're
spirit.
writing the records right now. We are writing the records.
There you
We
go.
are doing it. We are in the library. What do you want to write in your story, people?
Yeah, that's what it said. It just came out nothing. I got a deck of a whole bunch of other cards, and that was I pulled nothing. So you got to fill in the blank.
It's almost like you have a blank check. What do you want?
Hmm.
Right.
What do you
Right.
want?
We manifest together. Oh my gosh.
I did want to before we wrap up, there was a really good question by Slayed by My Light Williams. He said, does everybody on the journey figure out what their real mission is? And I would say, whether they're on the journey or not, the answer is no. Because I remember being taking a business course, and he's a brilliant guy. And there was a study of all these people who were highly successful, and most of them said, and they were like doing their work for 20, 30, 40 years, and most of them said that they feel like at the end of their day, at the end, they really didn't accomplish everything that they thought they should have. When we're talking about like a 10-10 living, this convergence of like your gifting and your talents and the opportune time, and when they meet, it's like perfect timing. So it's sad because the richest place in the earth is the graveyard. People go to the grave with, and I say that because it's a recent experience with my ex who recently passed away. He went to the grave not fulfilling his mission.
Mm-hmm.
There are paintings that are not going to be painted on this side, in this timeline where it should have been, music that should have been written, stories that are going to be untold in this timeline. And so those things, unless they're given and inspired to other people to finish off the work that he was supposed to do, he went to the grave and made the grave rich. And so that's one of the things that why union of self is so important, because we don't want to make the graveyard the richest places in the world. We need you to empty yourself out completely. So that way when you're done, you're like, I gave it my all every single day, because tomorrow's not promised. And at least I did today everything I knew I was supposed to do.
That's beautiful.
All right, we're at the wrapping up. So, is there anything else? I think Raquel got us to our point there. Is there anybody else want to add on?
I was just hearing that lyric from that Jadena song. I don't want my best dressed day in a casket.
Okay.
But it's not as poignant. It's a pretty good song. Hail to the chief, you know.
Yeah. And her story remind me of the same thing that Les Brown had said too. He used to come around and he did lectures at our and he was saying always pretend yourself that you're lying in bed, and while you're lying in bed, all your hopes and dreams come around. They say they tell you they're standing around your bed and they're telling you now we die with you because we didn't get a chance to be our greatest because you didn't take the risk. There, you're too sure to do this and too sure to do that, and now we die with you. And so that's the same thing. You don't want your last days to be kind of like Les Brown saying all your hopes and dreams just standing around looking at you and said, now we die with you. That's it. Nobody will hear those, just like what Jupiter said. So that reminded me of that same story as
And
well.
that does not give you the right to go on a self-pity spiral of all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Just
Right.
now. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it means. That means go out there and get it. Go out there and get your union. Go out there and get your bliss. Go out there and get your DM. Go out there and do whatever. Get your union, whatever you want to do, because you don't want to leave here with any regrets. You want to go out there in the blaze of glory that you have done everything that you know that you could and what you were sent here to be as a light worker. All right, then this has been a great time. We played in this sandbox. I know my clothes is tired.
Me too.
On this playground. My clothes is dirty. My mama gonna give me when I go back in the house. Look at this.
I got sand places I shouldn't have sand. I got, you know.
That was me yesterday.
This one, Lord have mercy, still a child at heart. That's good. Yeah, right. Let's start off with this right here. If you want more golden light, she's got that halo. Beyonce ain't got nothing on her. Halo. Go to this golden lifestyle again, unlimited. Miss Made for this goldenlife.com. April Williams, she's our own Hawaiian goddess. If you love she gave us bonus meditations tonight on top of meditations. So if you love what she's being able to see where the different energies are housed in your bodies. As you see, she used that with Jubilee 11 telling her, and she always pinpoint also specifically what it stems from this life, past life, whatever. Hit her up and please come to madefordhisgoldenlife.com. All right, we got our own here, Jedi Master. You didn't know that. She knows how to do that twisting of the mind right there. We got our own Kathy D from Pineapple Fish coaching.com. If you want some practical keys to life and helping to make that shift in your mind, please come and hit Kathy D up. And she knows some fishing tips too. Ha ha. But and as always, our chakra queen. I wanted, hey, she's a Rolodex for knowing about the animal kingdom. I can hit her up. Tell me what fever means. She can tell you what it means. Here we go. Our own Jupiter 11. Our own Jupiter 11 and rise with Jupiter.com. She's got everything you see, the spiritual, the mental as well. And so you go to her and she can help you. She's got what is you got something? Oh, talk about the 8-8,
Well, the Lionsgate event. So our 411 event was so well received that it was amazing that they've asked us to do another one. And then we were like, okay, what's next? They're like, oh, do one for the 8-8 event. It's going to be very similar format to what we did in the 411. So it'll be hours, you'll be with these ladies, and it's going to be unpacking even more because not only are they going to do the playground experience, but then they're each going to also have their segments, so that way you have even more a deeper dive of their expertise. Coming back as well will be Sasha from Divine Pisces 222 and David from Soul Mission. So it's going to be another great day. It's around the rebirth of you. And if you've been, all these retrogrades and that are happening, it's really a setup. August is going to be a hot month, not just temperature wise, but there's a lot of things that are going to be popping off between June. This is like, and the thing is like I tell people they're asleep on Divine Unisols. Pay attention to the timings because she will tell you the timings of things. And she's already told us, she's been telling us things since January, February, and then like 3 or 4 months later, readers are picking up on it. So she does a lot of time jumping. And during the 411 event, she got the time jump of what's happening in April, May, and June for the twin flames. And that's exactly what's been rolling out. That's exactly what other readers are now picking up on. We're like, y'all late. She said that months ago. So when I was talking to Divine, she's like, yes, the rebirth of you. And I was like, oh, it's perfect because I call like, what should I call it, right? She has a knack for naming things. And so and it is 8-8. So 8, when I see 2 8s together, to me, that's a new beginning with a double portion of blessing. And so we're getting you prepared for that double portion of blessing that is available for you. The thing is, it's like anything else, right? The blessings are yours. You are one with your undivided good, but you still have to say yes to it. You still have to go with the flow of it. You still have to, go with the pings of it. And we made it at a price point anybody can afford. So we're really excited to do this again and, give you some surprises along the way. So you just go to risewithjupiter.com and then go to events and you can go ahead and get your ticket.
Yes, it was a beautiful time we had last time. So many breakthroughs and people doing testimonials too from there. So you definitely want to make sure you're part of the event. And then if you like what I'm throwing at you, you also can go to divineunisols11.co and I have readings and all that good stuff. But this focus, what I'm doing for me on my channel is my support group. So we're opening it up again. The support group that does Sunshine Circle. It says new there. For you, it will be $22 for you all to join. So we will meet on Wednesdays and Fridays. This time I'm adding on a new component, which would be the mentoring as well piece. So you'll be mentored by other ones that have already been through the Sunshine Circle as well from last time. And they're taking on to kind of show you the ropes as far as if you're new to this twin flame journey. Or if you say, I've been at this well 30 years and still I feel like I'm a newbie. You be able to join the Sunshine Circle as well. So go to divineunisols11.co because I've seen that even on other people's channels. They're talking about at this time, you need somebody to talk to. You need that support. You don't need to keep on having that same conversation with yourself in the mirror and you're getting nowhere. You need somebody on the outside that can be able to give you that support as well. And then also on Divine Unisols 11, we have the Playground Experience program as well being offered there. So you can check out us there. We have a program catered to whatever topic that you come up with, and we'll make sure that we will cater it towards your needs, your wants, and your desires at that time. So please come and check out divineunisols11.co there as well. And then also, if you like what we're throwing down, make sure that you click, like, and share, smash that button so you can know you can get notifications when we're on here live, and also when we have the other great things here. You never know who we might have pop up on this program. Kathy D, get us on out of here.
All right. Well, always work through the pain. Make sure you take your bucket and shovel home, not anybody else's. Empty your shoes before you walk in the house. I'm wishing you the best life ever and see you real soon.
All right, April Williams.
Stay blessed. Stay golden.
All right, Jupiter 1111.
May all your days be like days of heaven on the earth.
All right, then. It is us always with me. Stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, Namago. Mwah. And love you all. All right, until next time.
Hello.